What comes to your mind when I mention West Asia? Conflict, regional rivalries maybe? Today we are focusing on another issue that is plaguing West Asia, and that's climate change. Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up. Israel and Jordan have been engaging in drought diplomacy over scarce water resources, while Kuwait is converting the world's largest tire dump into a city. The Euphrates has been the cradle of civilization in West Asia. The river has been the lifeline for millions in Iraq and Syria for thousands of years.
What mysteries lie beneath the Euphrates? Hidden caves, artifacts, and a gold mountain. The Euphrates River is not only beautiful with breathtaking views, there is a great deal of historical significance centered on the river. Several ancient cities such as Sippar, Nippur, Shurupak, Mari, Ur and Urkuk lived around the river. Today, it is no longer shocking to learn that the mighty Euphrates River is on the verge of drying up. This is a confirmation of biblical prophecies signaling the end of times and the second coming of Christ, as well as the revealing of various secrets that have been kept hidden from many. Welcome back to Divine Favor. Before we start, hit like and subscribe button below the video, comment and activate the notification bell so that you receive the next videos directly on your devices. Beneath the shimmering surface of the Euphrates River, there's more than meets the eye. It's not just a scenic wonder, it's a historical treasure trove. Imagine stepping back in time to ancient cities like Sippar, Nippur and Ur, bustling with life along its banks. But hold on tight, because there's a twist. Despite its majestic appearance, the Euphrates is in trouble. It's slowly dwindling away, echoing ancient prophecies and sparking curiosity about what secrets it might unveil. Think of it like a suspenseful movie trailer. The Euphrates isn't just a river, it's a gateway to a hidden world of mysteries waiting to be discovered. From forgotten caves to ancient artifacts, who knows what treasures lie beneath its waters? And what could its shrinking mean for our future? The river is one of the longest rivers in Western Asia. A long time ago, it helped to start what we call civilization, where the first cities and farms were made. In ancient stories and religious texts, the Euphrates isn't just a river, it's a symbol of both physical and spiritual abundance. The Euphrates River is like a life-giving force, providing rich soil for farming and bringing prosperity to the communities along its banks. Imagine a map of the ancient world, where the Euphrates winds its way through what is now Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. It's not just any river, it's one of the big players in the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. And guess what? It even gets name-dropped in the Bible, mentioned alongside legendary rivers like the Tigris. Check out Genesis 2:14, where it talks about the Euphrates flowing from the Garden of Eden. That's some serious biblical street cred. Genesis 2:14, and the name of the third river is Hydrologist. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. Even today, this river is very important because it gives water for drinking, farming and electricity in countries like Syria and Iraq. The Euphrates pops up in other ancient texts too, not just the Bible. It's like a recurring character in the epic saga of human history, weaving its way through different cultures and belief systems. So next time you think about the Euphrates River, don't just see water flowing downstream. See a symbol of abundance, a thread connecting ancient civilizations and a story waiting to be told. The Euphrates River has a big role in the Hebrew Bible. It's not just a river, it's a symbol of belonging and borders. It symbolizes territorial boundaries, military strategy, and political control in the ancient Near East, and its mention in these verses highlights its significance in shaping historical events and power dynamics in the region. Let's break it down with some examples. 2 Kings 24:7. And the king of Egypt came not again any more out of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken from the river of Egypt unto the river Euphrates all that pertained to the king of Egypt. Picture this. The Euphrates River stretches far and wide, marking the boundaries of Babylonian conquest. When the Bible talks about territories from the river of Egypt unto the river Euphrates, it's describing the immense land that Babylon's king Nebuchadnezzar had conquered. This river wasn't just water, it was a natural border, showing the world how far Babylon's power reached. It was like drawing a line on a map, showing everyone where Babylon's influence began and ended. 2 Chronicles 35:20 KJV. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by the Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. Now imagine a battlefield near the Euphrates River. This wasn't just any battleground. It was a place where empires clashed. The Euphrates served as a landmark, guiding armies to strategic locations like Carchemish. Here, Josiah, the king of Judah, faced off against Necho, the king of Egypt. The river wasn't just a backdrop, it was a crucial part of the story, highlighting the importance of controlling key territories along its banks. During King Solomon's time, in 1 Kings 4:21, it's like Solomon's in charge from the river to the land of the Philistines. The Euphrates isn't just a line on a map, it's the real deal, marking the edge of Solomon's kingdom. 1 Kings 4:21 KJV. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines and the border of Egypt. They brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life. Genesis 15:18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Picture a map where God's making promises to Abraham in Genesis 15:18. He's like, hey Abraham, see that river, the Euphrates? That's your eastern boundary. And guess what? That boundary gets mentioned again and again, like in Joshua 1:4, where God tells Joshua, anywhere you step, that's your land, all the way to the Euphrates. Joshua 1:4 KJV. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. The river isn't just water, it's a symbol of power, strategy, and control. It shows us how ancient kingdoms defined their borders, fought their battles, and shaped history. And even today, it reminds us of the timeless lessons we can learn from the rivers that have flowed through the pages of history. But here's the kicker. The Euphrates isn't just a historical marker, it's also a signal of what's to come. When it starts drying up, it's like a warning bell for the end times. The Bible talks about a big event, the drying up of the Euphrates River. This is supposed to happen in the last days to let some important people from the East pass through. But who are these kings of the East? Well, that's up for debate among scholars. Some think it might mean powerful countries like China. According to the Bible, these Eastern kings will have a massive army, like really massive, with 200 million soldiers. Back when the Bible was written, that number seemed crazy big. But now, China actually has an army that size. Pretty wild, right? It's like the Bible predicted it. Revelation 16:12 and 15. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keeps his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's this story about a battle among these eastern kings over gold. Yep, gold. Some people wonder if the gold found along the Euphrates River could be the same golden mountain that the Prophet Muhammad talked about. So imagine gold scattered like pebbles along the riverbanks. It's like something out of a treasure hunt, and it's got Islamic scholars scratching their heads, wondering if it's the real deal. Overall, it's a fascinating story that brings together ancient prophecies, modern realities, and a whole lot of intrigue. Who knows what secrets the Euphrates River might still hold? In Islam, there are teachings from the Prophet Muhammad about the Euphrates River. According to these teachings, the river will one day dry up, revealing hidden treasures that could lead to conflict and war. Imagine this. The Euphrates, once a mighty river, suddenly reveals a mountain of gold. It's like something out of a fairy tale, right? But here's the catch. Everyone wants a piece of the treasure, and when I say everyone, I mean everyone. People would fight tooth and nail for it, even if it means risking their lives. It's a chilling prediction that speaks to the power of greed and the destructive nature of human conflict. Now picture the chaos that would ensue if such a treasure were to be uncovered. So, while the idea of a golden mountain may sound like a dream come true, it's also a stark reminder of the potential for greed and violence lurking within us all. News reports tell us that the water in the Euphrates River is getting lower. Scientists and people living there say it's because of not enough rain and very hot weather. Jay Famiglietti, a smart hydrologist from UC Irvine, has been looking at some serious data. He found something pretty alarming. The water levels in the Euphrates River basins are dropping fast. In fact, they're the second fastest in the world after India. Why is this happening? People keep using more and more water, and there's not enough coordination between countries to manage it properly. Think about it like this. Imagine you have a bunch of different people trying to share a pizza, but nobody can agree on how many slices each person should get. That's kind of what's happening with water in the Euphrates basin. You see, after a big drought in 2007, things got even worse. The demand for water keeps going up, but the way we manage it is all over the place. Different countries have different ideas about who gets how much water, and that's causing a lot of arguments. As the river gets smaller, farms can't grow food, and fishes that lived in the water are gone. This is making life very hard for people there. Millions of people relying on the Euphrates for water. From Turkey to Syria to Iraq, it's a lifeline for so many. But as the river struggles, these countries are facing a crisis. They're fighting over who gets access to what's left of the water, and it's not looking good. In Iraq, a climate activist named Nasir Bakar has sounded the alarm. He says that because of the water crisis, diseases like diarrhea, chickenpox, measles, typhoid fever and cholera are spreading fast. And to make matters worse, the government isn't even providing vaccines anymore.
12 million people in Syria and Iraq are struggling with this, the worst water crisis in years that we have seen. So especially, this is, the water table is at its lowest, 70% less rainfall, and this has really wide ramifications for health. It has wide ramifications because drinking water isn't safe.
A report from 2021 sounded the alarm, saying that if things keep going this way, the river could be bone dry by 2040. But how did it come to this? Well, blame it on climate change. Rising temperatures and droughts are sucking the life out of the river, leaving it parched and depleted. NASA's fancy satellites have been keeping an eye on the situation too. They've spotted a whopping loss of 144 cubic kilometers. That's like 34 cubic miles of fresh water from the Euphrates basin since 2003. That's a huge amount of water disappearing right before our eyes. It's not just about losing a river, it's about losing a lifeline for millions of people who rely on it for water, agriculture and more. So, while we're busy arguing over who gets the last slice of pizza, let's not forget that we're all in this together. We need to find a solution before it's too late, because when it comes to water, there's no room for arguments. It's a matter of life and death. Now here's where it gets interesting. What if these two things are connected? What if the struggles we're facing with water shortages and health crises are a sign of something bigger? It's like a puzzle with pieces that might fit together in unexpected ways as we live in the last days. Luke 21:11. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Friends, if you're someone who looks to the Bible for guidance, you might have noticed something stirring in the world around us. These events aren't just random occurrences, they're signs of something bigger on the horizon. But here's the thing, we don't have to sit idly by and wait for these events to unfold. We can take action, starting right now, to prepare ourselves for the second coming of Jesus. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's stay vigilant, let's stay compassionate, and let's stay ready for whatever comes our way. See you in the next videos.